The unexpected invitation. Sarah Chen stood in her family's garage, surrounded by the organized chaos of her workspace. Circuit boards, salvaged computer parts, and various mechanical components covered every available surface. The afternoon sun filtered through the dusty windows, illuminating particles that danced around her latest invention, a device that shouldn't work according to her high school physics teacher. The machine hummed quietly on her workbench, a cobbled-together arrangement of recycled parts and innovative engineering that took up less space than a microwave. Its soft blue glow pulsed steadily as it powered not just the garage lights, but also charged her laptop and phone simultaneously. The energy output readings on her monitoring tablet showed stable performance for the 72nd straight hour. Still running, huh? Sarah muttered to herself, adjusting her safety goggles. Her invention was deceptively simple. It harvested ambient electromagnetic waves and converted them into usable energy through a crystalline matrix she'd accidentally created while experimenting with mineral formation in her mother's pressure cooker. The result was a nearly perpetual energy source that required no fuel and produced zero waste. The doorbell rang, echoing through the house. Sarah ignored it, focused on recording the latest efficiency readings. Her mother's voice carried from inside. "Sarah. There's someone here to see you." "Just a minute," she called back, making one final adjustment to her monitoring setup. The garage door opened, and Sarah turned, expecting to see her mother. Instead, she found herself face to face with a tall figure that definitely wasn't human. The being stood nearly 7 feet tall, its iridescent skin shifting colors like oil on water. Multiple eyes blinked at different intervals as it regarded her, and when it spoke, its voice resonated directly in her mind rather than through the air. "Sarah Chen," the being projected, "I am Ambassador Zal of the Galactic Innovation Council. We've been monitoring your energy experiments with great interest." Sarah's tablet slipped from her fingers, clattering to the concrete floor. Her mother stood in the doorway, looking surprisingly calm for someone in the presence of an alien. "They've explained everything, honey," she said with a slight tremor in her voice. "They're here about your invention." The ambassador's skin rippled with patterns of blue and gold. "Your device has caught our attention because it shouldn't be possible, especially not from a civilization at your current technological level. We've detected its unique energy signature from orbit, and I must say, we are most intrigued." Sarah found her voice, though it came out as barely more than a whisper. "You've been watching me?" "Indeed. Your work represents a completely novel approach to energy generation. The Grand Galactic Innovation Summit begins in 2 weeks, and we would like to extend an invitation, the first ever offered to a human." "The, what?" Sarah's mind raced to process what she was hearing. "It is the most prestigious gathering of scientific minds in the known galaxy," Zal explained. "Representatives from over 3,000 civilizations will be present, sharing breakthrough technologies that could benefit all sentient species. Your invention, primitive though it may appear, has properties we've never encountered before." Sarah glanced at her modest device, still humming away on the workbench. "But it's just a prototype. I built it from spare parts and recycled components." The ambassador's skin shifted to a deep purple. "Perhaps that is precisely why it is so remarkable. You've created something new using only the most basic materials available to your species. That kind of innovation is rare and valuable." Would I have to go to space?" Sarah asked, her scientific curiosity beginning to overcome her shock. "The summit is held aboard the Celestial Nexus, our most advanced space station. All arrangements would be made for your safety and comfort, of course. Your parents would be welcome to accompany you." Sarah's mother stepped forward. "We've been discussing the details. Your father and I think this could be an incredible opportunity, but it's your decision, honey." Looking between her mother and the alien ambassador, Sarah felt the weight of the moment. This wasn't just about her or her invention anymore. She would be representing all of humanity at this summit, showing what Earth could contribute to galactic society. "When do we leave?" she asked, straightening her shoulders. The ambassador's skin blazed with patterns of bright gold. The transport arrives tomorrow morning. Pack your invention and any tools you might need. The galaxy awaits, Sarah Chen. As the ambassador turned to leave, Sarah caught a glimpse of the sleek spacecraft hovering silently above their house, its presence hidden by some kind of cloaking technology. Her simple garage experiment had just opened the door to the stars, and somehow she knew nothing would ever be the same again. Her device continued its steady hum, oblivious to how it had just changed human history forever. Among the stars. The celestial nexus loomed before their transport ship like a massive crystalline flower blooming in space. Its central hub sparkled with lights of every color imaginable, while vast petal-like segments rotated slowly around it, creating artificial gravity for the thousands of beings aboard. Sarah pressed her face against the viewport, trying to take in the impossibly vast structure. Approaching docking bay Epsilon 7, announced the ship's AI in a melodious tone. Please prepare for final approach. Sarah clutched her invention closer. She'd spent the entire 12-hour journey triple-checking every component, painfully aware that she'd soon be presenting it to the most advanced scientific minds in the galaxy. The device was housed in a reinforced case her father had helped her build, but it still looked embarrassingly simple compared to the technology she'd glimpsed on the transport ship alone. Their ship glided into a cavernous docking bay where dozens of vessels from across the galaxy were already moored. Some looked like liquid metal, others seemed to bend light around them, and a few appeared to exist in multiple dimensions at once. Sarah's heart sank further, even their spaceships made human technology look primitive. A delegation waited for them at the airlock. Ambassador Zal stood with several other beings, including a floating crystal entity and what appeared to be a living cloud of golden particles contained within a transparent field. Welcome to the Celestial Nexus, Zal projected. Allow me to introduce Director Zixis of the Innovation Council. The crystal entity chimed melodiously, its facets refracting light in complex patterns that somehow translated to speech. So this is the human prodigy. Rather small, isn't she? Sarah's mother squeezed her shoulder supportively as Zal led them through vast corridors filled with representatives of countless alien species. Some walked on legs, others floated or slithered, and a few seemed to teleport from place to place. The air hummed with translated conversations and the background noise of advanced technology. They arrived at what would be their quarters for the duration of the summit. The room adjusted its environmental settings automatically, and a holographic interface sprang to life, displaying information in English. The preliminary showcase begins in 3 hours, Zal informed them. Your presentation space has been prepared in Hall of Innovation Delta. After the delegation left, Sarah began unpacking her device with trembling hands. Mom, what if they think it's a joke? What if it doesn't work here, or what if? Sarah Elizabeth Chen, her mother interrupted firmly. You built that device in our garage using parts from old computers and a pressure cooker. It's been running continuously for months. If it works on Earth, it'll work here. The Hall of Innovation Delta turned out to be larger than her entire school. Alien inventors had set up displays showcasing technology that bordered on magical. One demonstration showed a device that could manipulate gravity itself. Another presented a method for folding spacetime into pocket universes for storage. Sarah's assigned space was tucked away in a corner, marked with a simple holographic sign, Earth Delegation, Electromagnetic Conversion Array. She set up her device, trying to ignore the dismissive glances from passing aliens. Well, came a sneering thought projection. So this is the primitive technology that caused such a stir. A tall, insectoid being clicked its mandibles as it examined her setup. I am Dr. Crix of the Hexapod Technocracy. Surely this must be some sort of joke. It works, Sarah said quietly, activating her device. The familiar blue glow emanated from its core as it powered up. Amusing, Dr. Crix chittered. We mastered electromagnetic energy conversion millennia ago. Though I must admit, we never thought to use. It paused, mandibles twitching in what might have been discussed, cooking equipment. As the insectoid alien moved on, Sarah noticed another observer hanging back. This one was smaller than most aliens she'd seen, with silvery skin and large, curious eyes. Unlike the others, it seemed genuinely interested rather than contemptuous. "Your power readings are remarkable," it said, introducing itself as Ven, a junior scientist from a dying world called Lyra. "Especially considering the materials used. How did you achieve such efficiency?" Before Sarah could answer, a deep vibration ran through the station. The lights flickered, and for a moment, gravity seemed to waver. Emergency announcements began broadcasting in multiple languages. "Warning, primary power core destabilization detected. Backup systems engaging." The magnificent displays around them dimmed or shut down entirely as the station diverted power to essential systems. Only Sarah's modest device continued running steadily, its blue glow unchanged. Ven's large eyes widened further. "How is your device still functioning?" "It creates its own containment field," Sarah explained, her confidence growing slightly. "It's completely self-sustaining once activated." Another tremor shook the station. This time, even the backup lights flickered ominously. In the growing darkness, Sarah's invention cast blue shadows across increasingly worried alien faces, and she began to wonder if her primitive technology might prove more valuable than anyone had expected. Ven looked between the failing station systems and Sarah's steadily running device. "I think," they said slowly, "the Innovation Council needs to see this. Right now." The breaking point. The council chamber was chaos. Holographic displays flickered with cascading failure warnings as the station's most brilliant minds argued over solutions. The central power core's containment field was deteriorating rapidly, threatening to release enough energy to tear the station apart. "The quantum stabilizers aren't responding," announced a being composed entirely of crackling energy. "The core's resonance patterns have shifted beyond our predicted parameters." Director Zixus's crystalline form pulsed with urgent patterns. "What of the hexapod containment protocols?" Dr. Crix stepped forward, mandibles clicking rapidly. "Our systems are incompatible with the core's current frequency. We cannot establish a stable connection." Sarah stood at the back of the chamber with Ven, watching the station's most advanced civilizations fail one by one to solve the crisis. Her device hummed steadily in her arms, its soft blue glow a sharp contrast to the emergency lighting that bathed everything else in harsh red. "The core's unique properties are what make it so powerful," Ven explained quietly. "It harnesses energy from multiple dimensional planes simultaneously. But something has disrupted its harmonic balance." Sarah's mind raced. Multiple dimensions? Like different frequencies of electromagnetic waves all overlapping? Similar, yes, but far more complex. "The containment field requires precise calibration to." Another violent tremor cut Ven off, stronger than the previous ones. Warning sirens blared. "Critical failure imminent," announced the station's AI. "Core collapse predicted in 47 minutes. Evacuation protocols initiated." The announcement triggered pandemonium. Delegates rushed toward the exits while security forces tried to maintain order. But Sarah barely noticed. She was staring at her device, an impossible idea forming. "Then," she said slowly, "my device doesn't just convert electromagnetic waves. It harmonizes them. That's why it's so efficient, it creates a self-sustaining resonance pattern that what?" Ven leaned closer, their silvery skin shimmering with interest. "That's why it didn't fail when everything else lost power. It automatically adjusts to maintain stability, like a self-tuning instrument." Sarah looked up at the chamber's central display, where the core's erratic energy patterns spelled impending disaster. "I think I might be able to help." Ven's large eyes blinked rapidly. "You want to interface your device with the core?" "Sarah, the energy levels would be astronomical. Your technology isn't designed for. Neither was my mom's pressure cooker when I used it to grow the crystalline matrix, Sarah interrupted. Sometimes simple solutions work because they're simple. We just need to get someone to listen. They fought their way through the crowd to where Ambassador Zal was coordinating with emergency response teams. Ambassador. Sarah called out. I have an idea. Zal's iridescent skin swirled with stress patterns. Young human, evacuation procedures are in effect. You must. My device might be able to help stabilize the core, Sarah blurted out. It works by creating harmonic resonance patterns. If we could scale it up. Absurd. Dr. Crix interrupted, mandibles quivering with indignation. You expect us to trust the fate of this station to primitive human technology cobbled together from cooking equipment? What other options do we have? Then challenged. The conventional solutions have failed. The core is collapsing. At least let her try. Director Zixus's crystalline form hummed thoughtfully. The human device has demonstrated remarkable stability. And it continued functioning when our systems failed. Another violent tremor rocked the station. Emergency barriers slammed down over the chamber's exits as sections of the station began emergency sealing procedures. 35 minutes to core collapse, the AI announced dispassionately. Explain your solution, Zal projected urgently. Quickly. Sarah took a deep breath. My device creates a self-adjusting harmonic field that naturally seeks stability. If we can interface it with the core's containment systems, it might be able to guide the core back to a stable resonance pattern. It would be like using a tuning fork to help an orchestra get back in tune. The power differential would be massive, the energy being crackled. The interface alone would be incredibly complex. Then help me modify it, Sarah said firmly. I understand my device better than anyone, and you understand the core. Together, maybe we can make it work. Director Zixus chimed decisively. Proceed. We have nothing to lose. As emergency evacuation announcements continued to echo through the station, Sarah found herself at a workstation surrounded by the galaxy's greatest scientific minds, all focused on integrating her garage-built invention with the most advanced power core in known space. Her hands trembled slightly as she began opening her device's housing, but her voice was steady as she explained its workings to the assembled aliens. They had just over half an hour to save the station, and failure meant more than just personal embarrassment, it meant the loss of thousands of lives and centuries of accumulated knowledge. Sarah pushed aside her fear and focused on the task at hand. After all, solving impossible problems with limited resources was a very human specialty. The core's containment field fluctuated ominously on the monitors above them as they worked, a constant reminder that time was running out. A human solution. Core collapse in 15 minutes. Sarah's fingers flew across the workstation as she made final adjustments to her device's interface. Around her, alien scientists worked with remarkable precision, connecting impossibly advanced adapters to her homemade invention. The contrast was stark. Crystalline quantum processors linked to circuits she'd salvaged from old smartphones, dimensional stabilizers interfacing with modified microwave parts. The resonance patterns are still unstable, Dr. Crix reported, their earlier skepticism replaced by focused professionalism. We cannot establish a clean connection to the core's regulatory systems. Sarah studied the energy pattern displays, which showed the core's chaotic fluctuations in real time. The solution was there, she could feel it, but something was missing. She closed her eyes, thinking back to her earliest experiments in the garage. Wait, she said suddenly. We're overthinking this. The beauty of my device is its simplicity, it doesn't try to control the energy, it guides it. Like water finding its own level. Ven's silver skin rippled with excitement. Of course. We're trying to impose order when we should be facilitating natural harmony. Sarah nodded eagerly. Exactly. Remove the quantum regulators. They're too rigid, too controlling. Let my harmonization matrix connect directly to the core's containment field. That's incredibly dangerous, the energy being crackled. The power feedback could destroy your device instantly. Trust me, Sarah said, meeting the being's crackling gaze. This will work. Director Zixis chimed their approval. Do it. 10 minutes remain, we have no other options. The aliens worked quickly, stripping away layers of sophisticated technology until Sarah's device had a direct connection to the core's containment field. The monitoring screens showed energy levels far beyond anything her invention had been designed to handle. Interface complete, Dr. Crix announced. Ready to initiate on your command. Sarah took a deep breath, her hand hovering over the activation switch. The entire chamber was silent except for the warning sirens and the hum of failing systems. Here goes everything, she whispered, and pressed the switch. For a moment, nothing happened. Then her device's familiar blue glow began to pulse, growing stronger and brighter. The core's energy readings fluctuated wildly as the two systems began to interact. Energy spillover detected, someone announced. Containment field stress at 147% of design capacity. Sarah watched the pattern displays intently. Come on, she murmured. Find your rhythm. The station shuddered as if in response. Warning lights flashed across every display. Core collapse in 5 minutes. 4 minutes, 50 seconds. The power differential is too extreme, Dr. Crix clicked urgently. We must abort. Wait. Sarah interrupted, pointing to a subtle change in the energy patterns. Look at the harmonic resonance. It's starting to stabilize. She was right. The chaotic energy spikes were gradually settling into a more regular pattern, guided by the simple but elegant harmonics of Sarah's device. The blue glow had spread through the connection points, beginning to encompass the core itself. 3 minutes to core collapse. 2 minutes. Core resonance patterns shifting. Analyzing. The entire chamber held its breath as the AI continued its countdown. Sarah's device hummed louder, its casing growing hot with the strain, but the crystalline matrix inside continued to function perfectly, doing what it had been designed to do, finding harmony in chaos. Core resonance achieving stability, the AI announced. Containment field integrity improving. Critical collapse scenario averted. A cheer went up from the assembled aliens as the emergency lights finally switched off, replaced by normal illumination. Sarah's legs felt weak with relief, but she forced herself to stay focused, monitoring the readings as her device guided the immensely powerful core back to stable operation. Remarkable, Director Zixis chimed, their crystalline form refracting light in patterns of amazement. Your device didn't just prevent the collapse, it's actually improved the core's efficiency by 23%. The harmonization pattern is self-sustaining, the energy being observed. It's as if your invention taught our core how to maintain its own stability. Dr. Crix approached Sarah, mandibles moving in what she now recognized as a gesture of respect. I was wrong about your technology, young human. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the most elegant. Sarah smiled tiredly. That's the thing about humans, she said. We're really good at solving problems with whatever we have on hand. Sometimes limitations breed innovation. Ambassador Zala's skin rippled with colors she'd never seen before. You've done more than save the station, Sarah Chen. You've demonstrated that humanity has much to offer the galactic community. Your approach to energy harmonization could revolutionize power systems across known space. Then bounced excitedly. And all because you decided to experiment with a pressure cooker. As the aliens began discussing the implications of her invention, Sarah finally allowed herself to lean against the workstation, exhausted but proud. Her small device, built in a garage on a planet that hadn't even achieved routine space travel, was now an integral part of the most advanced power core in the galaxy. Maybe, she thought, being primitive wasn't such a bad thing after all. Sometimes the best solutions came from thinking small. Legacy of innovation. 3 months after the crisis, Sarah stood at a podium in the same chamber where she had helped save the station. The room looked very different now. Instead of emergency lighting and panicked aliens, it was filled with dignified representatives from hundreds of worlds, all gathered for the summit's closing ceremony. Behind her, a massive holographic display showed her invention's energy harmonization patterns being successfully implemented in power systems across the galaxy. What had started as a garage experiment had grown into something far beyond her wildest dreams. The Chen harmonization principle, Director Zixis announced, their crystalline form glowing with formal colors, has already been adopted by 17 civilizations for their primary power grids. The efficiency improvements alone have reduced energy consumption by an average of 31%. Sarah still felt slightly uncomfortable hearing her name attached to a scientific principle, especially one that was transforming galactic energy standards. She glanced at her parents in the front row, who beamed with pride. Her mother wiped away a tear, while her father gave her a subtle thumbs up. But perhaps more significant than the technical achievements, Ambassador Zal continued, their skin shifting through prestigious patterns, is what this discovery represents. The Earth delegation has proven that innovation knows no technological boundaries. Sometimes, the most elegant solutions come from seeing old problems with new eyes. Dr. Crix, who had become one of Sarah's strongest supporters, clicked their mandibles in agreement. The hexapod technocracy has already established a cultural exchange program with Earth's scientific community. We believe there are many more such innovations waiting to be discovered through collaboration. Sarah stepped up to the podium as the universal translators hummed to life. The speech she had prepared seemed inadequate now, so she set it aside and spoke from her heart. 3 months ago, I was just a kid tinkering in my garage, she began. I never imagined I'd be standing here, talking to representatives from across the galaxy. But what I've learned during my time here is that science isn't about having the most advanced technology or the biggest laboratories. She gestured to the holographic displays. It's about curiosity. About looking at problems differently. Every civilization here has something unique to offer, including Earth. We might be younger than most spacefaring species, but humans have something special. We're really good at working with what we have. The Chen harmonization principle works because it doesn't fight against natural energy patterns, it works with them, guides them, finds the harmony that was always there waiting to be discovered. And maybe that's a lesson for all of us. Progress doesn't always mean making things more complex. Sometimes it means finding the simple patterns that connect everything together. Ven, who had been appointed as Earth's first permanent scientific liaison to the Galactic Innovation Council, bobbed enthusiastically from their seat. Their dying world was among the first to benefit from the new energy systems, its revival already beginning thanks to the improved power efficiency. As we return to Earth, Sarah continued, we're taking with us more than just technological knowledge. We're taking hope. Hope that different species, different civilizations, can work together to solve problems that affect us all. And we're leaving behind proof that humanity is ready to be part of this larger community. The chamber erupted in the various sounds of alien approval, chimes, clicks, hums, and thought projections all blending together in their own kind of harmony. Director Zixis floated forward, carrying something that sparkled like starlight. Sarah Chen, in recognition of your contribution to galactic science and cooperation, you are hereby appointed as Earth's first junior ambassador to the Innovation Council. May your example inspire others to look beyond technological barriers and find new ways to work together. The crystalline medal they placed around her neck was beautiful, but Sarah knew the real prize was much bigger. She had opened a door for humanity, proving that Earth's primitive technology and unique way of thinking had value on a galactic scale. As the ceremony concluded and delegates began making preparations to return to their home worlds, Sarah found herself back at her original workstation. Her first device, the one she'd built in the garage, was now permanently installed in the station's museum. But she had already begun sketching plans for new inventions, incorporating what she'd learned from her alien colleagues while maintaining that simple, human approach to problem solving. "Ready to go home?" her mother asked, joining her at the workstation. Sarah looked out the viewport at the stars, knowing that they represented not just distant suns, but communities and opportunities. "Yes," she said, picking up her notebook. "But this is just the beginning." As their transport prepared for the journey back to Earth, Sarah watched the celestial nexus grow smaller in the distance. Its power core pulsed with a steady blue glow, a reminder that sometimes the biggest breakthroughs come from the smallest garages, and that humanity's greatest strength might just be its ability to see solutions where others see limitations. The stars stretched out before them, no longer distant and unreachable, but full of possibility. And somewhere in a garage on Earth, another young inventor might already be tinkering with humanity's next great contribution to the galaxy.